Hey people, what up? I actually did a video that's on my Instagram that's kind of the same message I'm going to get at here. My mouth is kind of swollen because I need like oral surgery and stuff like that. But I know people are going to vote today. I already voted actually, and what prompted me to make this video is because I see a lot of Christians responding to our current political climate, like either reactionary for right reasons, but going about it the wrong way, or just flat out doing wrong stuff for the wrong reasons and then sprinkling a little Jesus on top of it. So, this is to all those who claim Christ and to anyone who is claiming to be a follower of Christ or someone who sees themselves as righteous before God. Um, Please don't put your faith in a political party or a particular like pundit or personality in politics. Just don't do it. As Christians, we know that Jesus alone sits and remains on the throne. That's it. As Christians, we know that Jesus is still God. We don't have to go through all of this. And please don't say, well, technically, Jesus is at the right hand of the Father who's on the Don't do that. You know what I mean. Okay? God is still God, and God is still on the throne. And I just wanted to say this because, and I say this to those who voted Democrat, those who vote Republic, I love you. I may not agree with you. Those who chose not to vote, I love you. I may not agree with you. And I think that when we as Christians begin to vote and you see our vote more so as a tool and not a marker of our identity, then we'll be okay. Because this earth is not our home. And if anybody knows me, you know I'm super black. I believe in social justice. I believe in the sanctity of life, both in the womb all the way to the tomb. Right? I believe in those things. But I even believe in reparations. But even if we got reparations here on this planet, this earth is still not our home. And it does not absolve me of my right to be his viceroy here on earth, to represent him and be his ambassador here on earth. Nor does it give me the right to abuse my ambassadorship here on earth. So I'm supposed to represent the Lord well. And when people do dirty by me, I'm not to do dirty back to them. I'm also not to be a sucker, but I'm also not to be a tyrant. And so I say that to us Christians. If you feel that this is becoming too weighty, if you find yourself anxious in this moment, it is time for us to detach from these devices, from social media, and then abide in Christ. Do worship, cling to him, as it says in Philippians. I forget the verse. I think it's chapter 4, verse 8. Whatever's true, whatever's pure, whatever's like noble, whatever's excellent, whatever's lovely, whatever's I think it says kind and praiseworthy, focus on such things. Well, Christ is all those things. And I know I didn't get them all right, but Christ is those things. So number one, re-put Christ as the main focus of our hearts, and he will show us how to love our brothers and our sisters who choose differently than us. And here's the thing. Then you prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for what? Prepare yourself for if the agenda that you choose, the politics that you choose, if they actually get elected, then choose to be salt and light, because no one has an agenda that's 100% correct or righteous. So if I'm on the right and the right leading candidate wins, then I, as a Christian, have to be salt and light to make sure that the imago Dei in everyone is actually respected and given dignity. So that looks like me speaking out against racism and sexism and ridiculous examples of exaggerated laws so that people like Gianna Jessen can live And Jessica, I forget her name, the sister in Texas who passed away because the doctors refused to save her life, um, because she was having a miscarriage, and technically the surgery that she would have had to get would have been an abortion. Again, I'm pro-life, and I'm like, save her life, and they didn't. And a Gianna Jessen is someone who was born from a late term abortion. And the only reason why she was born is because the doctor was late getting there. And again, for those on the left who are like, well, late term abortions aren't a thing, she's literally a result of one. So as a Christian, I'm not choosing right versus left. I'm doing my best to choose right versus wrong based on who Jesus Christ is. And if that's the case, then I'm not going to get so bent out of shape when certain people get in office. So for those who are afraid, like, cast your cares upon God. And if I'm on the left side and my particular candidate gets elected, as a Christian, I have to be salt and light. What does that look like? Fighting for the sanctity of life from the womb to the tomb. It also looks like fighting for what biblical marriage looks like and not the marring of the imago Dei otherwise in that sense. So again, Christians, it's time for us to stand up and be righteous, godly, never slighting truth for grace, nor grace for truth. It says in, I believe, Ephesians 5:10, it says, carefully decide what is right. And we should do that. So again, carefully decide what is right. And then say, Lord, help us. And then pray. And for those who are afraid that this is going to usher in some kind of judgment or death call on our nation, number one, we all should be keeping short accounts with God and making sure we love our neighbor as we love ourselves anyway. So that no matter what happens, we're in God's will. Stop being afraid and conflating a life of ease with God's blessing, or like God somehow amend what it is that we're doing. We do that a lot in America. Just know that both John the Baptist and John the Apostle died and were still loved by God. One was martyred and died a death that we all are afraid to die of, if we're going to be honest. And the other one lived a long life, even though they tried to kill him several times. History tells us. So I say that to say we should not fear our ending outcome, and we should not be led by fear. So again, believers, detach from this. If you find yourself anxious and you have even a righteous indignation, ask the Lord to guide it and to guide you in a way that represents salt and light. No matter who's in office, God will still be on the throne. That's all I got to say. Peace.